back to the Catnip Podcast. My name is Grace and today is Tuesday, December 19th. This is a podcast about knitting, books, baking, and cats, but most importantly knitting because that is what I love to do all day, every day. We have a lot of knitting to talk about. It seems like a lot of knitting, but looking at it, it doesn't also seem like a lot of knitting, but we're just gonna talk about what I have because that's the point. I'm in a different location to help with lighting, and the tree is a little hectic over there because I'm sure you were dying to know. Above me is our TV, which is why there's wires. But I like my little tree decor behind me, so I thought that was very festive. I have social medias. I have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Ravelry. I'm most active on Instagram, so please go follow me over on there. I have been kind of doing a Vlogmas type thing on my stories and have fallen off significantly just because I don't even know. But we'll talk about that more in the actual episode. I'm also a knitting pattern tech editor, so if you know of someone who is interested or in need of a tech editor for their knitting patterns, I would love to work with you. If you'd like to check out the Graceful Edits tab, which is on my website, or if you just want to send me a message on Instagram, I would love to start a discussion with you. Like I said, we have a lot of knitting to talk about. It is almost Christmas. Christmas is upon us. The holiday season is in full swing. And today's a busy day for me, so we're just gonna keep on going. If you like to grab something tasty to drink, something to snack upon, something to craft upon, an animal to snuggle, a laundry to fold, whatever it may be, I hope it is bringing you joy and maybe rest. If not, I hope I can help you get through an unpleasant task such as laundry or doing the dishes, which seems to be a very hot argument of would you rather do the laundry or would you rather do the dishes? That is not the point of this podcast, but I just thought I would mention it. Either way, you do all those things, none of those things, whatever brings you joy. You can come back and join me for some crafty chat. I have quite a few holiday mugs that I bring out, obviously during the holiday season. And I actually got this one from a friend last year. She gave this to me for Christmas, and I hadn't had a chance to use it, obviously, because I actually saw her after Christmas. So I got it in like January, February. And now I get to use it this year. And it's actually the perfect size. It's very large, but not too large. And it says fa la la llama. I said too many la la las, but whatever. You get the idea. I apologize for my voice. I apologize for if I seem low energy right now. I feel low energy. I'm sure a lot of us do. My voice is tired, but that's okay. You know, it's reality. Nothing is perfect. Those pictures you see on Instagram, those very heavily styled and planned out Instagram pictures, which goodness knows I definitely do. It's no shame to you if you do. Not always an accurate representation of what's behind the camera or what is real life. So just a friendly little reminder, don't feel bad if your reality doesn't look like Instagram or social media. Because good chance that thing that you're seeing is not quite what exactly is happening. We have a lot of knitting to talk about. Another thing that I want to mention up at the top of this episode, I am going to take January off. This is going to be the last episode for the year, which is kind of crazy, and I'm going to take January off. So there will be no episodes. I do apologize, but I'm just going to take a little break and come back to you in February, rested and rejuvenated, ready for a new year of podcasting. So we'll go over all the stuff in February. I think I'm going to go over like my favorite things that I knit in 2023 and maybe a few crafting goals. We're not going to go over everything that I knit because that sounds so overwhelming. I do not mean to say that in like a prideful way, because I do not. I honestly, like, it really does sound very overwhelming. I do not want to have to go over everything. I don't want to have to find everything. I do not want to edit that. As much as I do love you all and I love this podcast, I do not love editing like that. For being completely honest. Yes. So yeah, we have fun things to discuss in February. If there are things that you would like me to go over specifically, or if you have ideas or things that you'd be interested in, please let me know either in a comment or send me a message on Instagram or whatever it may be. I would love to potentially throw that into the schedule of discussion planning thing. What? The script? The outline of the first couple episodes in February. So, yes. I do not have any finished objects this week. Actually, no, that's not true. Why did I say that? I do have a finished object, and it was very spur of the moment, but I do not have multiple finished objects. I think that's maybe what I was thinking in my brain to say, and it came out as one. I have this hat, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. It was very spur of the moment. And this is a great look, and I really love it. I don't even know what to say. What is the pattern? We'll just start there. This is the Robin hat pattern by Sari Nordlund, and it is technically a DK weight pattern, and I did use like a worsted weight yarn, so it is a little bit bigger than what I had thought, but I honestly really do love it. I think it fits my head very well, and it doesn't like smash my hair, my ears, whatever. It's very nice and snuggly. I use Malabrigo worsted in a colorway that I could not tell you. Oh, actually I have the project bag that I use, and there's a good chance that the ball band may still be in here because I'm so organized like that. That's not it. That's for something else. Oh, it is. Haha. I know myself very well. Okay, we're gonna put all this back in here. So I used Malabrigo worsted in the Azul Bolita colorway. Ba-ba! It's like, I don't know, I mean, obviously this lighting, I'm right next to a window. Hence why the light is coming from this direction, and you can see the light on my face and shadows on this side of my face. Wow, imagine that! That's how light works. It's the brightest royal blue. Makes me so happy. It has been in my stash for, I could not even tell you how long. Could not even tell you how long. It was, again, it was such a spur of the moment cast on, and we had potential plans to like be outside and be in the cold to go to a friend's wedding that we didn't end up going to, which was kind of a bummer. But I wanted a new hat. So I very last minute picked out a hat pattern. I happened to have the Robin hat pattern in my library, and went stash diving, and I knew I wanted a bright color. So it was between this, like a bright purple, and the bright green, because the skeins that I had pulled, I haven't put back yet. So I see them over there. But I went with the blue. I really love it. I am really wanting to make the Manhattan beanie, one of the various forms of it by Tori Yu, which I also have the pattern for. But I believe the only version of that I had was the light version, and I needed it like that weekend. And so when I was casting it on, I just wanted to make sure that I wouldn't be rushing to finish it, which obviously didn't end up being a problem because I didn't need it. But for this particular event. Now I have a wonderful bright blue hat, and I'm very happy with it. I definitely have messed up my hair, but that's okay. This is an interesting hat construction in that I've maybe done a top-down hat maybe once or twice in my life. And at the time I was not a fan of it, but I think because my experience obviously has grown significantly since the last time I did it, and just loving how this like is set up, it was a great experience. And yes, I do see that there's a little hole at the center. I do understand. I did learn how to do a circular cast on, which was cool. I had never done that before. Magic. Truly magic. And I am afraid to pull this yarn tight enough to completely close this little hole, because Malabrigo worsted, if you're familiar, is a single ply. And I really do not want that to snap. I feel very lucky that I got it as close as I did. I should have been a little bit more careful with that in picking my yarn and setting that up, but it's a learning experience, I know, for next time. I would definitely make this hat again. I really like these, the increases. I like how they look. The pattern is written to be a double folded brim, which I do not need. Living in Houston, Texas, that is not something that I regularly need, which is okay. It's just where I live, and so I just opted for the one fold, which actually worked out really great because I was really close to running out of yarn. I was very, very much playing yarn chicken. I did a tubular bind off to make the edge nice. And yeah, it was a good look, right? Hello, we're really up close and personal. I am a big fan of how this hat turned out. I think it's super cute. I love the color. Love the color. And would make more. But I also want to try the Manhattan hats out. So that might be a fun, like, Christmas, New Year's cast on, maybe, because it's pretty straightforward, and don't know what construction, if it's top down, bottom up. I feel a little bit less wary of top down hats, I will say, after this experience. So the instructions were very clear. If you haven't made this hat, the Robin hat, would highly recommend. And yes, again, it was written for a DK weight. I knit it with a worsted/Aran weight depending on your gauge. My gauge definitely is not quite what the pattern calls for, but it's close enough, and it met my needs, and it was fun to knit, and that's all that matters. Because ultimately, because it's not a sweater, all those bits of information are mostly guidelines. So you make it work with whatever you have. I didn't want to stress about it, so I didn't. Easy as that. Why worry about things like that when there are other things in the world to worry about? Next up, I also had another spontaneous cast on. After this hat situation, I wanted to fill my very cute sheepy project bag from Krista Jekyll. I think that's her last name. I got this at Woolen Folk, of all places, during the Rhinebeck weekend. It was very fun, getting a bunch of notifications. Excuse me one hot second. It's a reminder to do my Duolingo today. So I remember telling this story on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, but ultimately Sam had expressed to me, Sam is my husband if you're new, Sam had expressed to me that he would really like a hat and had shown me one that he had seen at Target that he really liked. And so I said, I know exactly the hat pattern and looks exactly like that, which is the Marley hat by Andrea Mowry. And he came home and picked out 2 colors for his hat. So I had put off casting it on, honestly, because I was just working on other things and I had tests going on, and it was just really not necessarily the best time to do it. But then it kind of boiled down to me putting it off, and I was like, I feel bad about this. I feel like I should just go ahead and cast it on. So I did. It's just a very simple 2-color brioche hat. On the inside we have this blue, and on the outside we have this like browny taupey gray. So don't have very much. Very, very simple, straightforward. If you've been watching the podcast for a pretty long time, you might recognize this brown color because it's what I used for my Woolen Honey sweater, which was also by Andrea Mowry. And I love that sweater, and I love this yarn. The brown is Knit Picks Palette, and this color, I have the ball band in here. It's like I was gonna say, why am I bothering to try and figure out what it is when I know I have the ball band in here? Is Chicken Coop Dye Works in the Caribbean Feet, not Caribbean Feet, Chicken Feet Base Caribbean Color, I do believe. I don't have much of the Chicken Coop yarn, but I really enjoy working with it when I do. I've got a few skeins here and there from various locations, whether I got them at shops or if someone was doing like a de-stash or whatever, and I just would get it from them. But I really love this blue. It's very, very like a deep teal, very Caribbean vibes, not Caribbean feet necessarily. That would not make sense. It's chicken feet that's the base, and Caribbean that's the color. That's my bad. I apologize. So yeah, again, it's just a 2-color brioche. I am a little worried that it's too loose, but I honestly don't really have a ton of like needles that are long enough. For the size, I think I'm knitting on a 3. I don't have any 2s or 1s that are longer than 16 or 9 inches. Or 12. I think maybe 12 is probably the smallest one that I have. And the biggest one that I have. I don't really have a ton of 2s and 1s if it's not for socks. So we're plugging along, and I think it'll be okay. I need to sit down and analyze it. It's kind of bothering me a little bit on how loose it is, but I don't know if it's because of just how I cast it on or what the problem is, but I know it doesn't look loose, but like when you stretch it, it's got a ton of stretch. And I know that brioche just does in general, so there's that, but I just don't want it to be too big. But it is for my husband, and his head is significantly bigger than mine, so I guess that there's also that. I don't know. We're going to continue to think about that. It's a similar situation to my very V-neck raglan, which we're going to talk about in a hot second. Of just it's bothering me enough that I can't just sit with it, and I can't ignore the fact that it's bothering me. I have to figure it out, otherwise I'm going to stress and worry and stress about it more and more, which is dumb because it's just a hat and there's no time pressure. This is not a Christmas present. I don't think he even knows that I've casted this on at this point. There's no expectations. I am literally putting it all on myself, which is silly. And again, out of all the things to worry about in the world right now, this is so little and doesn't need to be worried about. I need to relieve the stress from my mind. Say goodbye. Wouldn't it be nice if it all just blew away? Where's that quote from? It's funny. I'm glad that I pulled that out of my brain. Last second, that was a good reference. So let's talk about my very V-neck raglan, which I sat down and did the hard thing, thought through all the conflicting thoughts I had about the project, which we're going to bring in the Enneagram for a hot second. I don't want to talk about it too much because otherwise I will just go on and on and on about it. I'm a 9. I'm the peacemaker. Conflict is the bane of my existence, and knitting conflict in my own knitting world is really rough for me to deal with. I don't like it. And so, similar to the hat, if I can't just let it sit because it really bothers me. Which is good because I'm dealing with it. Otherwise, I wouldn't want to deal with it, but I know that it's not going to go away until I sit down and think about it and fix it. Which is what I did. Also, living in my pumpkin pecan pie bag by Lock Knits, which I love dearly. Yes. So, last time we spoke, I had told you all that I had done the V-neck portion to see where it was going to land on my shoulders so I could accurately measure the body, because at this point I'm making a very combined version of this pattern in regards to sizes, which is okay. I'm very confident in what I'm doing. I'm not worried about that part of it. But it was not turning out how I wanted it to. And then I realized after I had cast off the neck that I had not done it long enough for what I wanted, that the neckline was for my shoulders personally, it was still too far out there from what I wanted. The V-neck was still too low from what I wanted, and I really needed to just rip out that cast off and redo it, or just continue to add length to it. Was really, I didn't have to rip it all out, it was just the cast off. But with boucle, I was worried that it was going to be a pain in the butt because like the fibers would be stuck together, and also just the way the boucle is, that it would just be a pain. It was half of the pain that I thought it was going to be. It was not nearly as bad. So I'm grateful for that. This has also nothing to do with the yarn and the dyer of this yarn. Fashion School Dropout, it's literally just the way the yarn is. Like all boucle is like this. This has nothing to do with who I got this from. Which I got this at Cake Palooza during the Rhinebeck weekend. So I undid the cast off, I picked it up, I knit about another 1.5 inch on the neckline, cast it off, tried it on, perfect, exactly what I wanted. So it pays to do it right, even though it requires ripping things out and redoing or adding extra time because someone was impatient. And by someone, I mean me. So I could accurately see how long I wanted it. I can accurately now see how long I want the sleeves, which is very exciting. And now I'm in Body City, hanging out for a while, and we're all good. Good. So, I'm loving this. I will say that because of the once again, I know that this is a common feeling towards boucle yarn. It is a little tricky to knit with. After a while, it does get kind of old. Again, it is just the nature of boucle and the base and what it is. which is true. I do agree. It is not necessarily the easiest to knit with. It's not necessarily the most fun to knit with, but goodness gracious, do I love the finished object or the result of all the hard work. So the body's definitely taking me a lot longer than I thought it would, but that's okay. I've also been working on other things. I've been saying the very V-neck raglan. If you're unfamiliar, that is a pattern, sweater pattern by Just Made. And she has many a wonderful pattern that have a plethora of sizes, which is wonderful, which is also great for me if you are picking and choosing what you want from various sizes to make it work for me. She also offers just really very information dense patterns, which is really awesome. I think it's a really cool thing about the way that she designs and the way she writes her patterns. So would highly recommend you checking them out. I am loving this. Like I said, the boucle is from Fashion School Dropout. This is in the Hello Mrs. Dunn colorway, which is inspired by Daisy Jones and the Six. I have not seen nor read Daisy Jones and the Six. That's okay. I love the color. I saw this color sitting on her table in her booth at Cake Palooza, and I was like, it does not matter that I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of Daisy Jones and the Six, but I need that color. I need it so much. It is just so good. And who knows, maybe one of these days I will pick up Daisy Jones and the Six and read it, watch it. I don't know. There are other things that I would prefer to read, which, I mean, to each their own, to each their own. So yeah, I love it. Just plugging away. And yeah, I'm just really proud of how the neckline turned out. I know it's what I wanted, and I'm glad that I put in the extra work, even though I didn't want to, but I knew that I needed to. So happy days. That's my very V-neck raglan. Next up is my only test knit that's on my needles right now. And I have thoughts about test knitting in this coming year, and I need to think it through and figure out how I want to like explain it, how I want to treat test knitting this coming year. So I don't know. We'll talk about it in February. I'm gonna say that. That's all I know right now. More than that, I don't know. So this is the Syncopated Stripe Sweater by Hannah of Sandmade Knits. And could have sworn there were short rows, and where are the short rows? Oh, they're there. Okay. Ta-da! I have split for the sleeves, and I'm working on the body. I'm loving this. I think this is so much fun. It is it's a very straightforward, but it's also like a very well written and clear pattern. So there's no questioning what is going on in regards to the increases, which is probably the most complicated part in keeping in line with the slip stitch pattern and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, once I divided for the sleeves, now I'm just plugging along on the body, and I am so excited about this. I love how the yarn is knitting up. This was all stash diving for me, which is really exciting. The main body is yarn that I got from Maker and Stitch a while ago. This is the Fiber Company Cumbria, in this like white, taupey, off-white color. It's very close to the natural color of the yarn, I believe, but it's just ever so slightly more beigey, which is nice. So it creates a nice like base foundation for my gray, my like rusty color, my gray color, and then my like rosy purpley brown color, a mauve, which I suppose is more specific. So yeah, I'm just really enjoying working on that. I have really been like putting off progress. My foot is falling asleep. We're gonna stretch our legs. I've been putting off working on this only because I've been working on other things and I need to make sure that's in rotation regularly. It's not due till like sometime in January, the middle of January. I'm not worried about it, but I don't want to like not work on it at all and then stress about it to start off the year. That does not sound like very much fun. So I'm going to try and work on this as much as I can when I'm not working on Advents or Advent socks. And things have just been busy. People, I'm sure everybody's been busy with whatever holidays you may be celebrating. It's just a busy time. And so at the moment, the most time that I have for knitting is usually in the evenings, and that is like the perfect amount of time that I need for my socks, my Advent socks, and my Advent calendar sweater. And more than that, I'm very grateful for, which has been going to this. And for a while, it was going to my blue hat. Mainly my blue hat that is now finished, so I can go back to working on this, but yeah. Syncopated Stripe Sweater by Hannah Sandmade Knits in my Rows and Seams bag that I love very dearly. It just gives me all the cozy vibes. So I really love Hannah's sweater patterns. I think they're really great. I tested it for her one other time earlier this year and loved it. And her sweaters just fit me so well. And so I need to knit more of her sweaters and also obviously finish this one, which is definitely going to happen. It's just a matter of when, how soon before the deadline. It'll be finished by the deadline for sure, but I'd like to finish it before the deadline. We will see. I don't know. We will see. Okay. We've moved on to Advent knitting. And we also have a very wonderful yarn acquisition that I get to talk about today, which is very exciting. So we're going to talk about Advent socks first in my Sandy by the Lakeside bag, which was a gift from a friend. Close that. I do have a little jingle bell thing on this bag, so I apologize if it is jingling too much. I am knitting the Freckled Whimsy Advent socks. So if you're unfamiliar, obviously with any Advent calendar, you would open up something every day leading up till Christmas. And same thing if it's chocolates, if it's jelly, if it's yarn. Sam has a Lego Advent calendar this year, whatever it may be. With this, you knit a colored stripe of your sock yarn every day, leading up till the 25th, which is really exciting. And my two socks are different because I am pulling from opposite ends of my two 50-gram skeins, so that's kind of fun to see how they're different and also the same and where they match up. And have they matched up yet? They have not. Oh, no, they have. Which is kind of funny. Please tell me they're the same length. Oh, it's because I knit this one already. I was going to say, why is one of them so much longer than the other one? And it's because I've already knit one of the stripes today. That had me worried for a hot second. Woo! Okay, so here are my socks. Oh my goodness. That was silly of me. I had a grocery store curbside order, and I've been taking these with me while I wait for them to bring out my curbside order. And I had one today, so I just like knit this up really quick. Perfect. I can't believe I thought one was longer and I completely forgot. That was silly. So yep, they're fine. So these are my two sockies and I am just loving them. I have discussed with you and also with you all, and also with my mom, who is doing these as well. We are doing them together, and I have quite a few friends who are actually doing this Freckled Whimsy skein, which is very exciting and very fun to see how they're all different. But last time I mentioned I was gonna do a heel flap and gusset because that's what fits my foot best, which still holds true. It does, but also I hadn't thought about it, that if I did that, it would mess up the size of the stripes, because when you pick up around the gusset, it's your rows are going to be longer, so you're going to use up more yarn. So the stripes over the top of your foot, where your ankle is, kind of, would be smaller. And I think that that would make me sad and bother me if they were not all the same stripes. So because of that, we're going to give the Afterthought heel another try, and I've gathered more information. I've educated myself when it comes to Afterthought heels. I've watched many videos. I think the most educational for me and the most helpful for me in regards to explanation was the Crazy Sock Ladies. Would highly recommend. I'm pretty sure that I know what my problem was with my first Afterthought heel, which was with my Little Dots socks by Summerly Knits. So I know what to do and how to fix that. So I'm very excited about that. And I'm just hoping that it opens up a door of the Afterthought heel world to me. And my mom, because she's also going to do one as well. So, which sounds ridiculous. I know it's really not that dramatic. I'm making it way more dramatic than it is. It's fine. It's gonna be okay. There's nothing complicated about an Afterthought heel. I am just like, I love my gusset and heel flap though. It just fits my foot so well. And now I know how to change the Afterthought heel a little bit to fit my foot a little bit better, similar to a heel flap and gusset. So I'm excited about that. Excited about the prospect of learning something new. Also, just the idea of having these to wear, like finishing the stripe up on Christmas Day, then finishing the toe, and then doing the heel a couple days later. That means I have a fresh pair of socks to wear for the new year, and they could be my New Year's socks as well, and I'm so excited about that. Is that silly? I don't think that's silly. I'm very excited about it. It's just like a guaranteed, like, you're gonna have a finished pair of socks, which is just very exciting. Because when was the last time I finished a pair of socks, people? I've come close recently, but not quite. Not quite, but that's okay. You know, it's not a problem. Again, we're not to be dramatic. Not to be dramatic, but I'm gonna have a finished pair of socks, and I'm very excited about that. So, happy days. My Advent sweater is like bringing me so much joy right now. It is so nice. I love it. And I'm just gonna continue to talk about it and not show it to you so you won't know what I'm talking about. That's not very nice of me. So I am knitting the Daft Days cardigan by Rebecca of the Crayabea Designs podcast, whatever. She's such a sweet person, very creative and very passionate about knitwear design, which is so wonderful. I've wanted to knit this pattern ever since it came out, and using my Advent for this was the best decision that I've ever made. I'm so excited to be able to wear this when it's done. I cannot even. Everyone, I have divided for the fronts and the back. Like, what are the chances? I'm not going to have a finished sweater by the time Christmas Day rolls around, but I'm going to be pretty close. Like, I am very impressed. Also, just like me being able to keep up with things. I am also shocked by that. The only downside of having divided for everything is that means I have 3 balls of yarn attached to my sweater at all times now. And that is very much a big pain. And I don't like it. But I do not want to have a ton of ends, even though I weave in my ends as I go. Like, I just don't want to have to deal with a bunch of bulk on the back of the fabric or whatever. I don't know. I tried to figure it out, and it just was not, I couldn't figure it out to do it correctly in an effective way with only 1 ball of yarn. So we have 3. Not my favorite, but that's okay. You know, you do what you gotta do. It's gonna be really hard to show you. Maybe if I flip it over, if we hold it up like a cardigan. Sorry, my needles are scraping the floor right now. That's what that sound is. Oh, it looks so good. What is my advent calendar? Well, I set this up. My advent calendar is Around the World in 25 Days by the Charming You. And when I tell you, these colors are just the most beautiful colors that I have ever seen. I'm not exaggerating. So here's what I have so far. Can we even, people? Like, can we even? This is so good. It looks so good on camera. It is so good. And what you can't see as well, you can kind of see it there. The addition of the sparkle, or the combination of the sparkle and the tweed, is the most magical combination of textures. I am so excited with how it's turning out. I'm so happy that I got the sparkle. I'm so happy that I went with this Rowan Felted Tweed for my main body, or for the main color. I don't know how well you can see that. If it's coming through. It's so good. So, like I said, I've been able to keep up with it. I haven't really been able to, or haven't gotten too much behind, unless it was like the main color rows. It's really just 8 rows a day. 4 rows of your contrast color, 4 rows of your main color, except yesterday I was not able to do it, which is okay. We had other stuff going on. So this is actually yesterday's, and it does look like it's falling apart, but it's really not. Also, I will say that this is a DK weight pattern, and I am holding my fingering weight double in regards to that, so that's how I'm making that work. And I did end up lengthening the body significantly by accident. And I am going to try not to worry too much about yardage. I think it'll be okay. I'm sure it'll be fine. But the pattern called for 11.5 inches, I think, for the size that I was doing. And I just didn't even look at the pattern because I thought I knew what I was doing. I went till 15 inches. That is a lot more than 11.5. Like, that's so much more. So we're trying not to worry about it too much, trying not to overthink it. I think it'll be okay. And if not, I know where to get more. So I did get this yarn from Maker and Stitch Surprise Surprise. It is my mom's local yarn shop in Edwards, Colorado. They are wonderful. I love them very dearly. Wish I lived closer. So I am very excited. There's the back. Could I tell you which color is my favorite? No, because they all are. I love them all dearly. And I don't even know I don't know what's coming. So there may be another color that's coming that I just am going to be so even more in love with. So this was yesterday's, which I believe is, or was, Dublin, Ireland. I did get the chance to wind it up, so there is that. It's not like I was not going to do it at all. I did try. And then today is London, England, which I love this color so much. Like, it's not what I would have expected for London necessarily, but it's just so cool. And I love the gold bits in there, like there. You can see the sparkle a little bit more in the mini. I love this navy bit up here. I think that's really gorgeous. The space is so squishy. I love it. And there's only 5 days left. 5 days left? No. I don't know. It goes till it goes till the 24th. And then there's a big skein to open, and then a big package to open, which I'm very excited about. So I'm just now noticing that my camera's running out of battery, and that is very unfortunate. Can I plug this in somewhere? We may do our best. Ooh, yes, I think we can. So I'll be right back, and we can continue on our discussion. Okay, you've been plugged in now, so we're getting power to the camera. It's all good. I was able to find a little extension cord behind our little entertainment sectional thing, whatever. I don't know. It doesn't matter. You're plugged in now, so that's what matters. So yeah, I am just really loving and enjoying my Advent knitting this year. I think it's such a good pattern. Obviously it was written for the use of Advent minis or any kind of mini countdowns that you may have, or just that kind of thing. And I think that was really nice for me, particularly because, I phrased that weirdly, specifically because I did not have to like refigure how to use Advent minis to fit into a pattern, which there's nothing wrong with that, and I really don't mind doing that. But last year's, though I loved it, it was super great. It just didn't turn out the way that I wanted, so it kind of got abandoned halfway through, which is really sad. And I need to figure out, it's a goal for 2024 is figuring out what to do with that and making it into something new. And with this, it's just been so straightforward. So nice. I haven't really had to overthink it. I haven't had to overthink it at all, really, other than, do I want 3 balls of yarn attached at once, or do I deal with a bunch of ends and have one? That's really been the biggest decision that I've had to make about this project, which has been really nice to take one mental decision off my plate when it comes to knitting and everything in general. So that was very nice. I am loving it. I am so excited to get the sleeves started. I'm so excited just to be able to wear it. I think it's going to bring me a lot of joy within the holiday season, outside of the holiday season. I'm just very excited to wear it. And I also have some buttons I think that would work. I don't remember how many buttons it needs. So we may have to take a peek at that, but I may not actually do buttons now that I'm saying that. It just depends on how many buttons I have. So I do need to do that before I do the button band to figure out how I'm doing that and if I want to make buttonholes. But yeah, the Daft Days cardigan by Rebecca of the Crayabea Designs and Podcast. I'm excited to open up tomorrow's. I do apologize. You wouldn't have known this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I had thought of opening today's with you all while recording, but I forgot. I forgot that I was wanting to do that, and I also forgot that I needed to record today, and I'm so sorry, and I'm very embarrassed to admit that, so I don't know why I'm telling you, but now you know we're friends. We can be honest with each other. I was just thinking about other things that needed to be done today, and I completely forgot that I needed to record. So thank goodness that I remembered, you know? Thank goodness that I remembered. So last thing that we're going to talk about, everybody, is very exciting. This is nothing groundbreaking. It's literally, I just got some yarn. Very groundbreaking over here. We have new yarn because I need new yarn for sure. I don't, but I definitely needed this yarn. So, if you have seen the past couple of episodes of this podcast, you would know that I knit a sample for Audrey of the Conifer Collective. She's a indie dyer based out of Colorado. She's super sweet. Some of her yarn is in Maker and Stitch, which is how I became familiar with her yarn. And I've knit some other things out of her yarn. I've absolutely loved it, done some test knits with it. And so I had the opportunity to knit a sweater sample for her. I knit the Weekender out of her tweed DK base in the oil slick colorway. It was just so much fun. Had such a good time. And is it raining? I thought I heard rain. There's rain coming. Sorry, I got very distracted. I thought I heard something like rain and I was going to be very surprised because it would be here early. But that's neither here nor there. It has nothing to do with yarn. The only thing it has to do with this is because I talk about the weather on the podcast and that's the only thing that it has in common. I'm sorry. So I knit the sweater for Audrey. It was really great. In payment, I got yarn in return and I spent a little extra of my own money to get a sweater's quantities worth of her tweed DK base in this color that may not show up very well in this lighting, but when I tell you it is gorgeous, everyone, it is gorgeous. This is her Lavender Haze colorway. Okay, that's pretty accurate. In the lighting, that's pretty accurate. Can we even with this? It is beautiful. This is the Lavender Haze colorway, which is from her Midnight's collection. Ba-bam. Ba-bam. And I am so excited. What was I going to say? Quick little side note about me. I've mentioned on my stories on Instagram a few times, so if you may already know this, in which case I do apologize for you already knowing this. You may not know this. I love lifting weights. It's so much fun. I love it. We have invested in a weight rack to put in our garage, which is really nice, so I don't have to go to the gym all the time to do that. I can just walk out to our garage and do it there. We put that together in June of this year. So I've been doing it pretty consistently since then, which is really awesome. I really, truly do love it. I know it's good for my mental health, it's good for my physical health, it's good for all the things. Long-term health, whatever. Very grateful for the ability to do that. But my go-to music is Taylor Swift. Which is why, I enjoyed Taylor Swift music before she, completely took over 2023 with her Eras tour. I was a fan before, but I didn't listen to her super often until I started working out, and then I, found this amazing playlist that's just got all the bangers. It's so good. It's, it really just suits my workout needs. And Lavender Haze happens to be one of my favorite songs. And purple, or lavender, is one of my favorite colors. So it was meant to be. And Audrey happened to have 5 skeins, which is exactly what I need to make a stick season sweater, which is also by Rebecca of the Crayabea podcast and Designs. And I'm so excited. I think it's just so beautiful, plus the tweed. It's gonna be gorgeous. I'm so excited. So when it arrived in the mail, I was just like, oh. Lavender Haze, good song, good color, Good tweed. I am so, so excited. This may be a potential holiday cast on. I don't know. Because I really want to cast it on soon. That being said, I know that I did ask for yarn for Christmas, and I don't know, it may be under the tree, it may not, so I may open up yarn packages on Christmas Day or around Christmas and be inspired to cast on those projects. So I honestly don't know. I couldn't tell you. But I'm really, really inspired by this color. I think it's just so beautiful. The gray, and there's like the teeniest hint of brown in some places, and just like the purple is just so good. It is so good. Audrey is very, very talented in what she does. So, and again, like I said, I love Lavender Haze is one of my favorite songs. I have many favorite songs when it comes to working out with Taylor Swift. But that's definitely one of them. I would love to know what my neighbors think of me. Our neighbors think of me because I work out with the garage door open, and I'm sure they see me dancing, and I'm sure they see me like rocking out to Taylor. Not that they know that it's Taylor Swift because I've got my AirPods in, but fun fact about me that you did not know, and I don't really share with a lot of people. So here I am sharing it widely on the internet. We are not ashamed. This is just who I am. And I love what I love. And it makes me happy. So that's all that really matters. And now I have yarn that matches a favorite song and has purple and will be this beautiful stick season sweater. Which is incredible. If you haven't seen it, would highly recommend. Will be linked in the show notes. I forgot to mention I have show notes at the top of the episode. I'm so sorry. Wow. Just all over the place today. I think that's all that I have to talk about on that note. So yeah, I am just very excited for the projects that I have going, the projects that I have yet to finish. I see a bag over there that's like my couch bag that has things that are kind of actively being worked on, but not actively being worked on, like my tessellated vest. And my Luke's Hotcakes socks. There's a group of my friends from the past yarn store days that we meet on Mondays, and we started meeting because of the Mystery Knit Along, which is also getting finished. I am finishing Stephen West's Geo Gradient Mystery Knit Along this coming year. It will be finished. We met to do that and just have continued to meet. And so I think there was discussions of maybe doing socks this coming year, or picking out like a designer that we all really liked to pick one of their patterns. And socks have been mentioned, and I'm so excited. May require more afterthought heel practice, which I'm very excited for. I will not be afraid. I will not be overwhelmed. I will not be afraid. It will be okay. I will be fine. So I'm really looking forward to that. So by the next time I see you all, I may have a fun pair of socks that are probably in process. They will be works in progress. Or who knows, maybe I'll have one finished, I don't know. But have yet to decide about that, but we're going to go stash diving for that, and there will just be fun things to share of what I get up to. Again, if you do not follow me on Instagram and want to keep up with what I get up to between now and next time I record in February, I would really recommend you follow me on Instagram. I know I haven't been sharing much of my stories after I said I was going to do Vlogmas, but things have just been busy, and I've just been overwhelmed. But I do have a lot of baking to do, which I'm very excited about. We're going to be with my in-laws for Christmas, and I have offered up my baking skills, and I'm very excited about the things that I'm baking, so I may put together some reels because that brings me joy. but no promises. We'll see if it actually happens. Let's see, what else was I going to say? But yeah, I don't really know. I don't think there's really much else to share with you all in regards to just like knitting stuff. Just to close out this crazy year, I just wanted to reiterate again, just say thank you to every single one of you who have been a part of this process of coming back to recording. And I'm gonna start crying again. Not again, but I'm gonna start crying. It's been a really tough year. I'm gonna keep it together. It's been a very tough year with having to say goodbye to Birdie, and I appreciate every single one of you for being so kind and understanding and sending all the love and the happy messages and stuff. It really, I had so much support with people that I like am physically around nearby, but I also felt such incredible support from my viewers and you all and just friends that I have on the internet in the knitting community or the crafting community. And it's just such a huge blessing that you have no idea how much that meant to me. So thank you so much. So thank you. Even though that you may feel like you don't make a difference just as one person, but you really truly do. So thank you so much for just being understanding while I took time off and while I kind of recovered, started the recovery, and did all that. I appreciate everyone being just so understanding and loving. So I wanted to say that since this is the last episode of the year. I do not take that lightly. That is just a huge thing, something that I knew that I didn't need to worry about, which was really nice that you all just let me take my time and come back when I was ready. So I was not expecting to cry, but we did, and it's okay because the emotions are good. We deal with our emotions. It's all good. Whoa. Woo. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope that you all have a wonderful end of your year. I hope that, I don't know, I know that I've had rough years in one way or the other. I know the world has just had a really rough year in general, to put things very lightly. And I hope that you find the small joys in the last few days of the year, but don't put pressure on yourself. Don't worry about it. Those small things will find you. And when you know that they're there, they'll shine bright, which is really special, because those little small things, those are the things that really just kind of like hit you deep in your soul, and you're like, oh, that was a good feeling. That made me happy for a second, and I'll take that second and we'll carry that forward to the next second, whenever that may be. It can be such a crazy, busy time of doing things and events and hanging out with people and eating good food and whatever, but it is also important to take time for you to just take a step back and recharge however you may need to recharge, because we all recharge differently, don't we know it? So make a priority to do that. That is very important, whether that's crafting or not. So crafting the mindless things. It's not trying to figure out if my brioche hat is too loose or not. That is not relaxing. So I probably won't work on that for a while. But I want Sam to have a hat, so that's important. Yeah, it's a busy time. Just take care of yourself. That's important. It's also important to just be present. Be as present as you can. That's also difficult. But when you are, you'll have those wonderful memories and that wonderful experience of doing that. And those moments can be cherished for a very long time, obviously, because they're memories. So on top of that, I have social medias, tech editing information. I have show notes, all the various places. If I forget anything, or if you have any questions or just want to say hi or whatever it may be, please feel free to send me a message on Instagram. I would love that. I hope whatever holiday you may be celebrating this year, I hope that you have a wonderful holiday season. We are celebrating Christmas and the birth of our Lord and Savior, so we're very excited about that, and just the wonderful reason for the season, with good food, good music, good time with family and friends, fun advent calendar yarns, socks, all the fun things. It just brings me so much joy. When things are rough, there are still the small things that we can find joy in, and that's really wonderful. Like the rain that may be coming. And I currently don't have a headache, even though there's rain coming, and I'm so excited. That is a very small thing that I'm finding joy in right now. That sounds ridiculous, but it is the truth. So anyway, I have waffled on for so long, and I am just rambling at this point. So all that to say, thank you so much for you being you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being so kind and understanding. Take time for yourself. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season, whatever you may be celebrating, or maybe you're just celebrating a day. Yeah, I think that's all that I have for you all this year. I feel weird closing it off on such an anticlimactic note, but I don't know what else to say. You are so wonderful. You are worth being celebrated. You are enough. And I will see you all in 2024 in February. Yeah, I'll see you then. Bye.